Alright guys, so hello, second and fifth periods. We're just going to do, sorry I can't be there today, I'm sitting in Barker Hall all day in meetings, so not out having a good time, just sitting in meetings. We're going to run through a few more practice problems with surface area and volume, and then after that you guys are going to do some practice problems on your own. We'll be spending today doing this. Friday, remember, is career day and team day, so second period I won't see you at all, but fifth period I'll see you, but we'll be doing a counseling lesson. And then on Monday, assuming we get through everything you need to get through in this lesson today, we can play math basketball. But that only happens if we get through math basketball, or if we get through today's lesson. So hopefully you're ready to move and run. You got your calculators, you have your formula sheets, you have your cards, because we're ready to go. Alright, first thing we're going to start with is surface area and volume of a triangular prism. Remember, it's a triangular prism. It's defined, prisms are defined by their bases, so a triangular prism means a prism with bases that are triangles. So if I'm looking at this prism here, and I know it's a prism because the sides, the faces are rectangles, and the bases are always going to be parallel. So the base is this triangle here, and this triangle here. So those yellow parts are the bases, right? So those yellow triangles are the bases. So if we can recognize that first, that's really helpful, because if we don't recognize that to begin with, then that's a problem. Okay. I also know that this triangle has this line here, the same thing that it has in the back. It also has here. And that's the height of the triangle, right? So everybody should be writing this stuff down. If you're not writing this stuff down, then that's a problem. So you want to make sure you're writing all this stuff down as we're going, so that your notes are the same as what I'm putting up here. Alright, so let's start by calculating the surface area. What I've done here is I've shown you what this shape looks like here. If we take this prism and cut it up and spread out all the pieces, it looks like this, right? So you can see the two triangles much more easily right here. Here's the one triangle, and here's the other triangle. And there's two again. So there's those two triangles. So you can see them a little more clearly this way. And remember that the other parts are called the faces. So this is a face, this is a face, this is a face, and these are the bases, right? If I'm looking at the surface area of this figure, I'm going to start by choosing what formula I'm using. And then once I see that, I can look at what parts I need for the formula. So remember, H stands for, that's right, it stands for height. Hopefully I'm doing as good a job as Dora today. P stands for, that's right, the perimeter of the base. So remember, here's our base. Big B stands for, not base, nope, I know some of you were thinking that, stands for area of the base. Good. At least I'm going to assume that's good and that somebody said it, because if nobody said it, then we're going to have a problem. Alright, so I'm looking at the important thing here is that I have two parts of my formula, this and this, that pertain to the base itself. So if I look at the base, I need to find both the perimeter and the area of this base. If we look at what shape the base is a triangle. In order to find the area of a triangle, area equals, you should be looking at your formula sheet. What's the formula for the area of a triangle? That's right, 1/2 base times height. And remember, the base and the height are always going to be perpendicular, so I'm going to start by circling that right angle. And that tells me what two numbers to use. So area equals 1/2 times 4 times 9. So 1/2 times 4 times 9 is equal to, do you all have your calculators? If you don't have your calculator, go grab one now. Anybody got an answer for me? That's right, 18 centimeters squared. So I know that this big B, I can take the number 18 and plug that in for that. But I also need the perimeter of the base. Remember, perimeter means that we're talking about the measure of the outside of a shape. So if I was to walk around the outside of this triangle, that would give me the perimeter. So how do you find that? That's right, you add it up. So perimeter equals 4.5 plus 7.2 plus 9. So I add those up. I get 20.7. So P equals 20.7. Hopefully that's right. I used my calculator, but you never know. Sometimes mistakes happen. So this is 20.7. So looking at my formula, if I rewrite it, I have SA equals height, I don't know yet, or I didn't look at it yet, 20.7 plus 2 times 18. So what is the height of this original shape? So if I look at the original shape and I look at these, I've already used these, I've already used this, that's all part of the base. So when I stand this up, how big is this, or how tall is this prism? And that would be this. This is my height of the prism. So that's my 8.1. So 8.1 goes here. So I get the surface area equals, order of operations says that I'm going to multiply first. So I'm going to do those two multiplications. So 8.1 times 20.7. Anybody got that answer? Okay, so I have 167.67 plus 2 times 18 is, that's right, it's 36. So 36 plus 167.67 is a grand total of a surface area of, that's right, I'm waiting for an answer, 203.67 centimeters. Is it cubed or squared? That's right, it's squared. So whenever we talk about surface area, your answer is always going to be squared. So there's our final answer. That is the surface area of this figure. Hopefully that helped. Now again, it's really helpful if you draw out a picture of the base. I gave that to you here. I showed it to you up here, but that's something that would really be helpful to you. Now if I'm asking you for the volume of that same shape, hold on, I'm realizing I should probably copy this image real quick. Let me copy this fast and drop it down at the bottom. Sorry guys, you have to bear with me for a second. Again, it's the same shape still. So we're still looking at it and we're still seeing that we have this here is our base. And this is our base. So we have our two triangles for our base, right? Or our bases, rather. We should still see that this triangle is the same as the one in back, and it has a height of 4 centimeters. Now if I'm asking for the volume, the formula you're going to use then is this one, big BH, which is actually a little more straightforward than the other one because we don't have to find the perimeter. And we already know how to find the area of the base, right? The area of the base is all this part here. So remember, again, looking at this triangle, if I find the area of this triangle, I circle that. So area equals 1/2 base times height. So area of the base is 1/2 times 4 times 9. So the area is 18. Now we did get that before, but just in case you weren't sure. So the volume equals big BH. Big B in this case again is 18. The height is telling you how tall. That's this, that's the height, times 8.1. And that gives me the volume. So I just have to multiply those two. Hey, calculator's up, let's go. What's taking so long? Yeah, I'm going to write the answer down eventually, but you got to write it down now. You better beat me to it. And I get 145.8 centimeters. Anybody want to tell me before I say it, cubed or squared? That's right, cubed. So whenever we talk about volume, it's always going to be cubed. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight my answer there. So the volume is equal to that. Alright, so that hopefully clears up a little bit about how you find the surface area and volume. So let's take a look at this problem here. What I'd like you to find for this one is the volume. Now I'm telling you that, I'm giving you that information that that's what I want to see. So I would like you to go ahead, take a minute, find the volume. I'm going to go ahead and pause my actually, I take it back. Mrs. Kraft or Mrs. Mickelson, if you could pause me for a second, let everybody go ahead and try the problem for a minute or two on their own. And maybe we need to use the timer here. Maybe 2 minutes will be good. Give everybody 2 minutes to figure out the answer to this problem, and then go ahead and hit play on me again. But pause me for a minute here so that way everybody has a second to do the problem, and I'll go ahead and do the problem on my own. Alright, so we're back. At least we must be back because somebody probably hit play. Anyway, volume here. I got that the volume is equal to 1,200 meters cubed. If you got that answer, great. If you didn't get that answer, here's what we're going to do. I would like somebody who got that answer to go ahead and talk about how they got that answer. If nobody got that answer, we got to figure that one out. The important thing here is that you notice that your base and your height for your triangular base are 15 and 16. So I go ahead and plug that into area equals 1/2 16 times 15. This 17 here that I've given you and here are actually extra information. You don't need that for this problem, right? Because we have the height of the triangle, or the height of the prism is 10. We have the base here, which I drew out. Again, draw the base. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to draw the base. You draw the base, you find the area of the triangle. That gives you 120. The height is 10. So your overall volume would be this. Alright, let's try another one. For this problem, instead of finding the volume, what I'd like you to find is the surface area. So again, Mrs. Kraft, Mrs. Mickelson, if you don't mind pausing me for a minute, letting everybody have 2 minutes and do the problem. Talk them through whatever needs to be talked through. After my work is up there, pause me as needed. Feel free to interrupt me anytime, in fact. I just won't know that you're interrupting me. But I'm sure you can tell me about it later. I'm sure it'll be very exciting. Everybody go ahead, find for me the surface area now of this figure. I'll do the work on my own, and then we'll come back in a minute and see if you got the right answer. So get moving. We don't have all day. Hurry up. Math basketball for Monday, it's on the line. Alright, so hopefully you got your question done. I got mine done. Hey, I heard that. I used my surface area formula as surface area equals HP plus 2B. I found that when I drew out the base, here's the base, it's a triangle, I knew that the bottom parts here were 4, so that meant that the top parts here were 4 also. So I had a 4, 4, and a 5.7. So if I find the perimeter, it's 4 plus 4 plus 5.7. That's over here, that's the 13.7. If I need to find the area of this shape, remember you circle that right angle. Sorry, I'm yawning, it's late. And it's 4 and 4 are the base and the height. So it's half times 4 times 4, which gives me an area of 8. And then go ahead and plug that in, both of those numbers in, and I go ahead and work out the formula. I get 57.1. Same deal here. If there's somebody who gets it, that can explain it, great. If we all got it, even better. If we didn't get it, Mrs. Kraft and Miss Mickelson, could you step in here? I have my work all there. Hopefully it's clear enough and easy enough to follow. So pause as needed. Otherwise, if we're ready to move on, we can go ahead to the next problem. So the other thing that I know is kind of complicated, and I think the problem with these kinds of questions is that, yes, it's just using a formula, but the thing that's confusing for a lot of people is not so much the using the formula part as it is that there's a lot of steps. And admittedly, there are a lot of steps to these problems. You have to find parts of things to use to put into formulas. So it's not just as simple as putting numbers into a formula and putting it in your calculator and getting an answer. You do have to do work to get to the numbers that you plug into the formula. So I think that's the thing that can be confusing for people at times. that being said, we don't have a whole lot of choice here, so we got to get through it, we got to understand it, we got to know how to do it. So we have the pyramid, right? That was the other shape that I know was kind of difficult for people to understand. So we're going to take another run at the pyramid. So if I take a pyramid and I open it up, it really, you almost could use a composite, do this using composite figures, right? Let me make sure I'm still recording. Good. The base is a square, so if I look at the base, there's my square, right there. The sides are triangles. They have, the triangles have a height of 10. So one way you could go about doing this problem is using composite figures, which you guys actually got pretty good at, which is finding the area of the square, finding the area of each of the triangles, and then doing what if we're looking at surface area? That's right, adding them all up. So you could find a total area and do it that way. Now, if you don't remember how to do that, we do have a formula. So let's go ahead and use the formula just in case we need that help. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a picture of what the base looks like. What shape is the base? That's right, it's a square. So if it's a square and one side is 16, then the other side is, that's right, also 16. Very good. So big B, remember, means area of the base. So what is the area of this square? No, not 32, but 16 times 16, which is, wait, did anybody say 32? I hope not. I just figured maybe somebody might. 256. So the area of the base is 256, but we also need to know the perimeter of the base, right? Because we need this P here. So I know if this side is 16, then this side is 16. If this side is 16, this side is 16. And if I want to walk all the way around this square, I do 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16, and I get, that's right, 64. So the perimeter of the base is 64. So the surface area equals 1/2 L, we don't know what that is yet, we didn't talk about it yet. P is 64 plus area of the base is, that's right, 256. Good. So L, what does L stand for again? Is it length? Are you sure? It's not on your formula sheet, so you might want to go to your flashcards now and remind yourself what does L stand for. If you all are sitting here talking at me going, Miss Florio, duh, it means slant height, then great. You'll notice that the slant height here is on the side. It's not the interior height, and the interior height is called H, but the slant height is called L. It's on the outside of the shape. So is the slant height 6 or is it 10? That's right, the slant height is 10. It's telling us that the height of this triangle on the outside is 10. So for L, I'm going to go ahead and plug 10 in. Then all I have to do is plug this into my calculator and then add it together, right? So 1/2 times 10 times 64. We have an answer? I'm waiting. Okay, it's 320 plus 256. So our total surface area is equal to, don't forget about those units, that's right, 576 inches, that's right, squared. Good. So that's our answer for how we find the surface area of a pyramid. Hopefully that clears that up a little bit. I don't know if it does. If it doesn't, slow me down or run me one more time on this. I'll do the same thing because clearly Miss Florio didn't think about the fact that maybe I might need a picture of the same shape down at the bottom. Let's copy and paste that down here. There we go. Now if we want to find the volume formula is not so bad. We already know what shape the base is, right? The problem is with the volume formula, you got to watch out for one thing. It has that 1/3 there. And when you put that in your calculator, that's what you want to watch out for, because that's the thing that'll mess you up. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a picture of the base. What shape is the base? That's right, it's a square. I could take it and color it in right here if that's confusing, or if it's not confusing, I don't know. Let's color it in just so that we see it. So there's a picture of my base. right? And it is a square. So let's draw a square. I know you guys can't color it in because you don't have the shape there. Well, let's go ahead and draw our square. Again, it's 16 by 16. Big B means area of the base, so I need the area of this, which we just found, which was 256. So now we're doing volume equals 1/3 256 times the height. Now look at where the height is. It's inside. It's not outside. It's inside. So which number do we use, 6 or 10? That's right. We're going to use the 6. That's our height. Times 6. So when you put this in your calculator, you want to do 1. Now listen. We're going to do this right now. Don't wait till later to do this with me. Do this right now. You're going to do 1 divided by 3 equals. Leave that in your calculator because it's 0.3 repeating, right? It's a bunch of 3's that go on and on. Don't round it. If you round it, you're going to get the wrong answer. So you do 1 divided by 3 equals. And I hope you're all doing this with me, because if you're not, then I don't know what to tell you. So you better pick up your calculators and do it right now. Last chance. Ready? 1 divided by 3 equals times 256 times 6. And what do we get? That's right. 512 inches cubed. So if you could please write that down. Thank you. And there's our answer. So hopefully that helps. So 2 more on just this kind of thing. So for this one, why don't you go ahead and find for me the surface area. Alright. Mrs. Mickelson, Mrs. Kraft, if you could just pause me for a minute. That'd be great. I'll do the problem. I'll meet you guys back here in a minute. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and we're back. So I got a total surface area of 800 inches squared. I was pretty nice by giving you a base that was the same shape, the same size, right? So the base is a square. It's the same size because it's 16 by 16, which gives me an area of 256. The perimeter is 64. 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16 gives me the 64. Plug the 64 in for P, the 256 in for B. I get a slant height, that's my slant height there, of 17, right? Because I don't want the height, this is the height, not the slant height. So I want the slant height. So half times 17 times 64 gives me 544 plus 256. Add those two things together and I get 800 inches squared. Hey, did I neglect to tell you guys that I'm most likely going to be checking your notes on Monday to make sure that we're actually all ready to do this? Oh. Yeah, so I'm going to be looking at your notes on Monday in the first couple minutes while you do the OP. So just be prepared, because since we're going to be doing that, I will know whether or not we're ready to play math basketball come Monday. And if I don't think we are, don't worry, I will have a backup activity. So hopefully you're all taking your notes diligently. All right, next problem. So go ahead and find for me the volume of this square pyramid, please. And you go ahead and do that. I will be back in a minute with the answer. Did I neglect to say that I should be paused? Please pause me, and then I'll be back in a minute with the answer. Okay, and we're back. So for this one, I got that the volume is equal to 10,240 inches cubed. So the base, again, is a square. It's 32 by 32. So in order to find the area of that, you have to multiply those two. 32 times 32 gave me 1024, or 1024. So I was able to take that and plug that in for B, which is the area of the base. The height, there's two measurements here. One, again, is the slant height. The 34 is the slant height. And then we have that 30 inside, which is the height of the figure. So the 30 inside tells me that we have, tells me that we have a height of 30. So that's the number I'm plugging in for H. So I multiply that together. Again, when you put this in your calculator, 1 divided by 3 equals, keep it there, times 1024 times 30, and you get a total volume of 10,240 inches cubed. If that wasn't enough explanation, stop me, or pause me rather, talk through it a little more, and then let's move on from there. Otherwise, here's what I need you to do. There are 6 practice problems for each of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the answers up. Okay? I'll put just the answers. Maybe I'll put the work too. I'll put the answers in the work. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and work through these 6, then go ahead and look at the answers, then look at the work through these 6, then go ahead and look at the answers. Note that up here it says to find the volume for the first 6, and that for the last 6 it says to find the surface area. So you're going to have to work kind of quick. Now, we didn't talk as in-depth about rectangular prisms, but that's on your formula sheet, and that's a little easier to handle. But these other ones are a little tougher. This one is a cylinder. Okay, here's a cone. Those formulas are a lot more straightforward. It's these 2 or these 3 shapes that have formulas that are a little more complicated. So I'll go ahead and put the answers up. You guys go ahead and work on the problems. Pause me, go through the first 6, make sure you have the right answers. Then go ahead onto the next 6, pause me, make sure you have the right answers. Okay? But you need to get these 6 problems done now. You do have homework tonight. It is a handout. It's going to be handed out if it hasn't already been handed out to you. So make sure you get that done for Monday. Now, homework needs to be done, notes need to be done, all of that needs to be completed before we can talk math basketball, which I would really like to do, but can't do unless I know that you've had the practice and you understand at least the basics of it. If you make minor mistakes, that's one thing, but you have to understand at least the basics. So make sure you're focused in getting this done. I will talk to you in a couple minutes. Alright, so I trust everybody has done the problems. So here we go. So I've got my answers for the first 3, along with my work. If you need to stop the video and look at the work because you don't understand where the answer is coming from, that's fine. If you could do me a favor and put a check or an X next to every problem you're getting right and wrong, that would be helpful also. Write the correct work if you didn't get it right. And then here's the next 3 problems with my work and answers. Sorry, that was another yawn. I'm tired, guys. I don't know about you guys, but I am tired. I'm probably sitting in this meeting right now. I am getting even more tired. I don't do well sitting in meetings. So, all day sitting in meetings just makes me exhausted. You'll see me walk out of Barker Hall today like a zombie. So, we have 4, 5, and 6. Here are answers. Again, if you need to pause and look at where my work is coming from, feel free. Hopefully it's clear and easy to understand. Otherwise, when you're ready, we have the next 6 problems. This time you're finding the surface area. I'll go ahead and do the problems on my own. So I'm going to pause this, do the problems on my own, and then you go ahead and do the problems on your own. Alright? One more thing, guys, just realized I didn't give you enough information to be able to do number 3, so let's cross that one out. I'm pretty sure I'm crossing it out on your paper, so you don't have to worry about it, but just so you know. Alright, so here's our answers. That's what I have for the first 2. Again, if you need to pause me to see where the numbers are coming from, then do that. And then here's our answers for the last 3. So you have your homework that you got to get done for Monday. You have your spiral review that's due Tuesday, so I think you have enough to keep you busy. And hopefully we got through everything. It was a successful class. Thank you very much, guys. I will see you around or on Friday. Have a good one.